KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. The New York Knicks, for a very, very long time, have not had one key position, point guard position. The point guard position being the main position that helps a team orchestrate their game plan the right way. The point guard is thought of to be the coach off of the bench. The point guard is a very vital position for a lot of NBA teams. We've had names, we've had memorable names. We've had Jeremy Lin and Lin Sanity. We've had Raymond Felton, who is said point guard that I mentioned. We were lucky to have a year of Jason Kidd, even though that year with us was up and down, but you could tell his impact was important. Baron Davis, Brandon Jennings, Elfrid Payton. It seemed like the Knicks were always renting a point guard, or we were doomed without a point guard for some years. We had Jarrett Jack and Ramon Sessions battling for the point guard position in one season. There was a time where Tony Douglas was our best option because we just had no other options at point guard for this New York Knicks team. It is important for the Knicks to go get a point guard. And I have had one name in my mind from before this season began, once it was known he was going to be restricted, and that is none other than Lonzo Ball. Today is the video where I tell you guys why it is important for the New York Knicks to sign Lonzo Ball. Buckle up, let's talk about this. Run the intro. What's going on, CK Crew? It's your boy CK2K, and welcome back to another video. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. Do not forget to like this video. Guys, if you haven't already, go follow your boy over on Twitch. We're actually streaming some 2K tonight, so make sure you come over on Twitch, join the conversation. Let me know how you feel about this video in the comment section. We can continue the conversation live over on Twitch. So go join the Twitch channel. Also join the Discord. Conversations continue there as well. Lonzo Ball, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, today is the video where I go into a deep dive as to why I have been so adamant about the Zo to NY movement. Now, there's two crowds I feel like I'm getting from Knicks fans when it comes to Lonzo Ball. There's the old school crowd that wants nothing to do with him because they're worried that he does not have enough dog mentality, and he's not a guy that can go out there and get buckets. He's not the sexy point guard that you're seeing in today's NBA. He's not that Damian Lillard. He's not that Steph Curry type of point guard. He's just not that guy, and it worries some Knicks fans. And to that, I understand. You know, a lot of people believe that that's what it takes in today's NBA to win. You need that Kyrie Irving. You need that Trae Young. You need that guy that's going to go out there and get you buckets. But then there's the other side that's like myself, that believes that because of all of the strengths of Lonzo Ball, it is only too perfect for the Knicks to go forward and at least go in a trial run and see if Lonzo Ball is our future point guard long term, because of everything that Lonzo Ball does right. So this video is hopefully to at least make it a little bit clearer why people like myself, especially myself who is the Zo to NY commander, why it makes so much sense for people like myself that Lonzo Ball is the guy for the New York Knicks, not only just for this season, but in my eyes, in the next 3 to 4 years, I think that this should be the guy that we run long term with as our starting point guard. Obviously, you guys know that I am a fan of Lonzo Ball, but you guys have to understand that this goes beyond just my fandom of Lonzo Ball. This is my fandom for the New York Knicks. For the last 2 years now, specifically last season, we saw that the New York Knicks have finally been putting together a team of players that are competent enough to play in the NBA today, especially last season. Last season, we saw Julius Randle break out into having his best season in his career. RJ Barrett in his second year making a huge jump in his career. We were seeing a lot of our younger pieces in Obi Toppin find his way throughout the season. We're seeing Emmanuel quickly win the hearts of many fans. Mitchell Robinson, who we didn't get to see too often last year, but in the time we saw Mitchell Robinson was showing that he is a vital piece to this team as a starting center. The list goes on, and then we got amazing veterans that came in and filled some holes in Reggie Bullock, Alec Burks, Taj Gibson. We got a great group of guys, Derrick Rose, that filled those holes. But again, the missing position was that starting point guard. At 1 second, you're seeing a team that is moving slow and was having a hard time finding offense in the starting unit. And then you saw in the second unit, you're seeing all of a sudden this team is a fast break, a high level, high octane team. You're seeing two sides of a New York Knicks squad for one unit. Normally a team that is high octane is going to be that way from the jump, and it's going to be continued off the bench with the guys that you have coming off the bench, or a more strategic team that runs a lot of the X and O's are going to be that way from beginning to end. That's just how a lot of these teams are. But with the Knicks, you can see with the lack of point guard, the Knicks had a lack of true identity at offense, because let's be real, we didn't have an offense. We had a lot of guys that can get you buckets. We didn't have that guy that can put the whole thing together. Now, as I mentioned up top, I know a lot of people are hoping that they can get a point guard like a Damian Lillard, and I'm not saying that's out of the cards that we don't go and get a Damian Lillard, or don't go get a scoring point guard like a Kyle Lowry or something like that. But to me, I just feel like with what this Knicks team has right now to build long term, Lonzo Ball is the kind of guy I feel like comes in and slates in perfectly for the growth of not just himself and what he's done so far in his career, but for the growth of these other guys that I just mentioned. RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett has always been the kind of guy that is really solid at getting to the rim. We saw this recently with Canada. RJ Barrett has shown off that he is the guy, no matter if he is going left every single time, he has the muscle and the ability to get to the rim, and luckily in overseas play, FIBA play, he gets the fouls drawn. But we're also seeing him expand his game and get a jump shot, and I feel like in his 3 years or 2 years with the New York Knicks, that was one of the downfalls, is even though RJ Barrett's jump shot was going in, there was a lot of opportunities for RJ Barrett that I felt like were missed a lot of the time by our point guard play. RJ Barrett would be open in a lot of instances, but you would see a lot of one-on-one basketball that led to his shot, to his open ability, and to the growth of his jump shot being missed, because it was just resulting in RJ Barrett just being a catch and shoot player, and sometimes those catch and shoot opportunities were missed. And then on top of that, RJ Barrett, who I feel like is a very good transition player. I know that he got a lot of knocks this season because of some of his decisions in the transition, but when you're the only one running in transition, or you have a guy like Reggie Bullock who's not used to running the transition, running with you, it's going to make it harder for you to make the kind of play that you are accustomed to. You need to be doing this by committee, and I do believe, as you might have seen again with Team Canada, RJ Barrett is a guy that plays well in transition, and then when you get him a point guard that is a co-star that can do those things with him, that changes up the game, not only for RJ Barrett but for the Knicks. That gives us a whole element to our game that we don't have. Matter of fact, last season, the Knicks were at the bottom of the league in transition buckets. We just were not that team. We weren't built that way. Though we were one of the best defensive teams in the league for the entire season, it never resulted in transition play, and to me, that's a bit backwards. Normally, defense leads to fast break plays, but when you just don't have the personnel to do that, that's where things can get a little bit shaky, and I feel like that's something that we could utilize, especially in today's NBA, and with Lonzo Ball, you get that. Other than possibly his own brother and LeBron James, Lonzo Ball is, to me, the best player to push the pace, one of the best point guards at pushing the pace. Lonzo Ball is a guy that can rebound and go from Lonzo Ball to Aaron Rodgers in the same game. We've seen it many times off a rebound. His eyes are already looking down, and that opens up a whole new game, especially with guys like Obi Toppin and RJ Barrett. It gives them the opportunity. Ball is rebounded, we run, because we have more athleticism than some of these guys that are going to be on defense, especially after a drawn out defensive stop, that they can go out there and go and get the ball in the break. And that is a whole level of Lonzo Ball's game. And that kind of play from Lonzo Ball unlocks the play from a lot of other players. Emmanuel Quickly, who has shown that he is a solid scorer. You put that kind of player next to Lonzo Ball, you put that kind of play next, it's just something that opens up the capabilities for a lot of players. So the fast break game opens up a lot more, opens up tenfold when you put a player like Lonzo Ball there. And the thing that you see with these teams, from LeBron James, from LaMelo Ball, from any name that you want to mention, it becomes contagious. Passing becomes contagious when you have your starting point guard. Hell, look at the Phoenix Suns. All of a sudden, because you're seeing your starting point guard passing up his own shots to make sure that another player is getting themselves going. DeAndre Ayton, Devin Booker, hell, Mikal Bridges. When you see your starting point guard doing that, then it becomes contagious for the rest of the team, and then everyone else is looking to make that extra pass. And the extra pass, to me, in today's NBA is one of the most vital and crucial parts to the game today. There is such thing as passing too much, but that extra pass in today's NBA is very vital. And like I said, once the point guard, once the head of the snake is the one that's making those kind of decisions and making those kind of sacrifices, it trickles down for the rest of the team, and then it just ends up being a part of the team's identity, moving the ball. It's just an instinct that's in his body where he will always make his pass. Lonzo Ball is not a high turnover guy. In the beginning of his career with the Los Angeles Lakers, he did turn over the ball a lot, but I think that was just more for the fact that the teams that he was with, and to their own admission, the players that he was with, they just were not ready for those kind of passes that Lonzo Ball was getting to those guys. So basically, one of the biggest things that excite me about what would be added to the New York Knicks is what I just mentioned, is our fast break play and the ability to start making the extra pass with Lonzo Ball. Those are the two things that I want to be added the most. Now, let's talk about scoring and defense, because with the New York Knicks, we were so strong on the defensive end, but even though we ended the season a lot better scoring the ball, especially from the three-point land, that is still one of our downfalls that we saw, especially in the playoffs. Can I stop saying especially? Hopefully this is the end of me saying especially. One thing that changed in Lonzo Ball's game this past season was under Stan Van Gundy, for whatever reason, he decided to slow down a high-octane Pelicans team that worked really well the year before. A team like the Pelicans that's full of athletic players, and what made this team so successful and so close to making it into the playoffs in the bubble was the fact that this team plays athletic and played to their strengths. And then Steph Van Gundy came in and completely flipped that, where you saw the teams and these players not playing to their strengths, leading to players being frustrated with the coaching from Stan Van Gundy. But one of the key things that went on with this team, but even though it ended up being a negative, it was also a bit of a positive for Lonzo Ball's game this season, because you saw him playing a lot more of a spot up two-man game this year. And even though that's not his game, though a lot of the stats that we're accustomed to seeing be high were low, we did see him take advantage of the position of being a spot-up shooter. I'm not saying that that's something he should do, but that's something that the Knicks desperately miss as well. Because what we saw in the starting unit with the New York Knicks this past season is you're seeing two, maybe three solid scorers in your starting unit in RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, and with some nights the help of Reggie Bullock. But then Elfrid Payton became a complete non-factor, because when the ball's moving and Elfrid Payton is wide open in the corner, he's not going to make that shot at a high percentage. If you're not getting any scoring from any of the three positions in Reggie Bullock, RJ Barrett, and Julius Randle, the scoring was coming in hustle plays. When you only have 3 of your 5 players that are some sort of a threat offensively, it puts you at a disadvantage, which is why we started a lot of these games down and playing catch up for the majority of the games that we played last season. Lonzo Ball comes in and he can provide you that offense. The thing about Lonzo Ball is he's not a guy that takes long to make decisions. We saw Elfrid Payton dribble a lot before finally moving the ball. We saw Julius Randle dribble a lot before finally moving the ball. Lonzo Ball is the kind of guy that's going to move the ball quickly, get to a spot, the ball fizzes around, and hopefully ends up back in his hands where he can get an open jumper, or B, an open shot for the opposing person. But the main thing is you want the ball to keep moving, so you're making it harder on the defense. When you stand there and dribble and the defense is just standing there playing defense, there's no movement going on, that's easier for the defense. You're helping the defense get in their spots. Compared to moving the ball quickly like Lonzo Ball does, that makes the defense play more, that lowers their fatigue, and then that helps the Knicks get a good shot in on the offense. I'm telling you, ball movement is such a small and underrated layer to the game of basketball that we just as Knicks fans aren't as accustomed to seeing. We get excited when we see ball movement on our team because we're just not used to seeing it, and if we get a guy like Lonzo Ball, we see this every single night. And then on top of that, with the movement, you're not worried about Lonzo Ball being open and the ball ending up in his hands, because he is a guy that can make them. Hell, he made them last year, the highest clip of his career. He shot 41% from the field last year, and he shot 38% from the three-point line, which kind of tied with his three-point shooting the year prior. So the game opens up a lot more when you have a point guard that can shoot as well as move the ball. So that basically makes up my point on Lonzo Ball being a multifaceted player, someone that does everything that this Knicks team needs. It'd be nice to go out there and get these scoring guys, but Lonzo Ball does a bit of everything, and I save the best for last, especially for this New York team that is showing their main identity, especially under Coach Tom Thibodeau, is defense. Though I believe Lonzo Ball has shown to be a solid team defender in the NBA level, I don't think he is that defender that a lot of us may believe as a one-on-one defender. He's not that, but with the way that the Knicks play defense, we play a lot of team defense, and Lonzo Ball, to me, that is his strength. When Lonzo Ball is off ball on the defense, I feel like that's when he is stronger at the defensive end. We see him get a lot more of those interceptor type steals, and he gets a lot of those blind blindsided steals and a lot of those, you know, great pressure plays off the ball defensively, which I feel like is the strength of what this New York Knicks team was. We did such a good job at swarming on position, switching on defense. Like the Knicks, that was their bread and butter this year when it came to the defensive play, because everybody was available and everybody was aware of what was going on. We had great paint presence. Other than Reggie Bullock, we don't really have that solid perimeter defender, but when you have a lot of athletic guys that are able to be in the positions and fill the passing lanes and intercept the ball from the passing and stuff like that, Lonzo Ball adds that to this team as well, as we were seeing from RJ Barrett and like I said, Reggie Bullock in some possessions. And to me, that is what makes Lonzo Ball the defensive threat that we see. I mean, hell, we've seen the play thousands of times when he was back on Los Angeles Lakers against the Orlando Magic. You just don't make that stuff up. The only player I've ever seen do something like that to this capacity in today's NBA also plays for the Knicks, and that's Frank Ntilikina. We've seen Frank Ntilikina in many situations jump from player to player to player to player defensively to help and be in the spot, and we saw Lonzo Ball literally guard every player in this possession leading to the Magic missing the ball and then him getting the board. Like, those are the kind of plays and those are the kind of things that I feel like get lost in the sauce because they're not the sexy plays. It's not a 3-point shot from the logo. It's not a, you know, 360 behind the back. You know, those are not the things that Lonzo Ball does well, but at the same time, he is a point guard that, in my opinion, can give you a solid 15 to 16 a night, along with 8 and 8 on a good night when he's playing the point guard position. And I feel like that is what we need from a point guard. We need that traditional ball moving, scoring defensive point guard, and Lonzo Ball is that. Brought in a lot of moments. I was trying to integrate what the Knicks need from what Lonzo Ball can do. A 41% shooter from 3, a 78% shooter from the free throw line, a 38% shooter from the 3-point line, a solid 7 to 8 assists per night player, a solid 5 to 6, maybe even 7 rebounds a night player. We've seen him do that in his career already. Lonzo Ball does everything. A 6'6" point guard that is able to play 3 positions for you and does the work on all the positions. I understand he's not the sexy scorer, but he's at 23 years old. He's a guy that does everything that we need at that position. People worry about the price tag. People worry about this, that, and the third. To me, for someone that gives you everything when a jump shot's not falling, but is still able to command the offense, is still able to go out there and get a stop, get a steal, do whatever the case may be, whatever the task that is needed, gets other players going when his shot's not going, but is able to get other players going. That to me is what's more vital at the point guard position, especially in a young guard like Lonzo Ball long term. And I feel like this guy is the guy that we should be running long term. I'm not saying Lonzo Ball is the savior. I don't think Lonzo Ball is going to be the messiah for this team, but I definitely believe if we're continuing the direction that we're going, Lonzo Ball is definitely a piece for what this New York Knicks team is supposed to ultimately become. We become that much more attractive that one of these many free agents are willing to take that jump and play with an actual good basketball team with the Knicks in 2022, rather than us hoping that one of these teams come over here and save us, when we've seen in the past that that's not the way that's going to go. We need to continue to build a winning team and a team with great culture, and I feel like Lonzo Ball solidifying that point guard position for us will do that for us in the long haul. I feel like there's still a lot of things I missed. I feel like I'm still not going to win over people. I feel like people are going to have their opinion on Lonzo Ball. They're not. But I hope that this video was able to touch some of those things that make Lonzo Ball so appealing to me at the point guard position. I'm sure I'm probably going to talk about him from now until he finally signs with the team. But I can't express enough why I believe that this kid makes the most sense for this team as a whole. Now, I feel like I missed a lot of stuff, but I also feel like I touched all of the main notes and main keys as to why I feel like Lonzo Ball makes the most sense for this team. Let me know how you feel. Let me know your worries. Let me know if I transition you. Let me know if you're excited about it. Let me know your thoughts about all of this in the comments below. Let me know who you want at point guard. I want Lonzo Ball, but I'm also very keen and very comfortable with us going with some other options that I mentioned in other videos. There's trading options for other point guards, stuff like that. But to me, the best and most sense option is Lonzo Ball. And that's just how I feel about it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. Do not forget to like this video. If you haven't already, make sure you go follow your boy over on Twitch. Join the Discord. These conversations are never ending. I'm sure the mere fact of me bringing up Lonzo Ball is going to strike a huge conversation in the Discord. You don't want to miss it. Go be a part of that. I'm out of here. It's been your boy CK. Let's get it. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Comments, I'm looking to see what you guys have to say. Lonzo Ball to New York. Zoe to NY. Keep the dream alive. See you guys in the next one. I'm out of here. Peace.
Cold pizza Tuesday. I got food up in the fridge.